you guys hear me now? This freaking scam. I got rugged. Can you guys hear me? I know there's no sound. I'm working on it. Okay. Is it good now? Someone tell me it's good now. Stop saying there's no sound. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Chicken gang in the house. I said hi to like everyone in the chat, and then I realized the sound wasn't working, so that was a bummer. I was actually talking quite a bit. Turn down the volume. I think I'm just loud. Okay. What's up, everybody? I'm sorry, there's a lot of hard to say hi to every single person. I'm seeing the messages come in. I appreciate you all being here. I hope everyone's doing okay. A lot has happened since the last stream, as you guys probably know. I mean, last time we streamed on Tuesday, we were like at 57K, so we've pretty much dumped. We dumped a good 20% since the last stream. So this is like the most action we have gotten in ages, and I'm going to take all the blame, all the responsibility, because I tweeted about how boring this 50K to 60K range was. And then the next day we dumped down to 46. So my apologies. But I hope you all are doing okay. I hope you guys stayed safe during the pump out there, or during the dump, not the pump, sorry. I hope you guys stayed safe. As you guys know, we talk about capital preservation a lot on this stream and in my risk management video. Capital preservation is the key. It's the key to surviving as a trader, having a long career, and making a lot of money. So always got to make sure our risk is managed. If you got in trouble and forgot to manage your risk correctly, you can give the risk management video another watch, and hopefully that will help it out. Chicken Little took a 600K hit. That is no fun. You'll get it back though. We'll bounce back. We all will. I mean, I think there are very few people that like made money from this drop. Sure, some people did. Anyone who shorted, but even if you shorted, like alts took quite a hit. And yeah, we'll talk about what we're looking for, what we want to see from here, what I'd like to see to get long, and everything like that. So let's start with Bitcoin. We laid out a perfect short plan last week. Unfortunately, I didn't follow it as accurately as I should. We had our monthly open resistance right here. And if you guys remember, we were trading, I think, right just below the weekly open. And I was saying that a move up to the monthly, that's where I would look to TP longs. If we get rejected there and then lose the weekly open, we will look for shorts or enter a short. Like, that's the short trigger, basically. It hit that, came down, bounced right here, and then nuked. We took out this low before taking out this one as well. So that played out really well. I did take profit on some longs at the monthly open, which I am thankful for, but unfortunately I didn't catch this short, even though I laid it out perfectly step by step. So that shows analysis is sometimes easier than trading itself. And yeah, a little bit of a bummer. Would have been a very nice short. Things definitely escalated really quickly. And it's like I'm always golfing when something crazy in the market happens. So I think I'm going to start telling you guys when I go golfing so you can be ready for the volatility. Because I'm pretty sure I left my house like on this candle. And then I came back home on this candle. And I was like, what just happened to the market? I mean, I was looking on my phone, but I had really bad service. And so it was pretty brutal. But let's talk about what we're looking for now. We'll clear up some of these levels. So one thing that I have had an eye on for quite a while was this low right here. And I was always kind of skeptical that this was our bottom because we didn't really dip into a major level. We didn't really take out any major lows. All we did was had this lower time frame sweep, I guess you could say. It was more of a local stop run versus a key low from back here. And so that is one thing that I like about this, is that we took out that low. So I think that's an important thing. I think that is a sign that this could be our low. I do think the low could be in. I'm not fully convinced yet, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. If this level does not hold, I think our eyes go to this low because that's the only other key low in this region. And if you break through that, I am looking at this level. If you guys remember, this was the Elon pump from back in the day. This is the Elon dump. Hate that guy, am I right? Just kidding. Elon's fine. I think someone's strong-arming him or something. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on with Elon, but he is just like contradicting himself, saying all these weird things, and it really makes you think there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. So, I think the low could be in here. If it's not and we come down for another leg, I'd be looking for a sweep of this low or a move into this level. So in previous streams, we hadn't really talked about this a bunch because we were trading at like 60. We didn't really need to talk about 40K. But I do think it's worth talking about now, obviously, because now these are levels that we are closer to, that we need to keep an eye on, because this is where I would look for a bottom if this isn't the bottom. So when you zoom out more, Bitcoin honestly is still just range bound in here since like February. I know that's a pretty big range, but there hasn't really been a major trend. I guess if we're looking at some market structure, you could say we were going like this and then broke that low, lower high. So we'll see if, well, and I guess technically a lower low. So for right now, my current expectation is like a move up to 54, 55K. At that point, I would TP any longs that I'm in, and I would start to look for shorts, and then look for shorts down here, because that's just us following the market structure, right? So after here, we had a shift, and we were starting to make lower highs and lower lows, and that can change. This doesn't mean we're just gonna keep going like this forever, right? This can change pretty quickly. I become macro bullish again when we get above the quarterly open. So I was even saying that throughout this time, that I am macro bullish if we can flip 59, 60K, and that still stays the same. If we can get above that level, we break out of this downtrend, we would have a new high above here, and then we would look for something like this. Put in a higher low, and then keep trending up from there. So I guess the main things I'm looking for right now is this level going to hold? So what I don't like is that we rejected off of this immediately with a pretty strong reaction, because this to me, look at the 2 hour, it's a little cleaner there. This to me is like the first resistance level that Bitcoin was going to face. And after dumping 20%, I would hope that Bitcoin would have a little bit more strength, to have a little bit more of a rally. But it rejected from the very first, you could call it the first trouble area, the first area of resistance where we would look for a rejection. So we rejected there. It's not a great sign, but it could mean one of two things. Either we're just consolidating here and we just consolidate for a bit, or it means this was our lower high from the bounce and we're heading lower now. So one trade scenario that we can look for with that level would be if it comes into here, breaks above, you'll look for the long here, and I would target 54 and I would target 56. Bang, bang, right? If we can flip that resistance, I would look for this move to have some more legs on it, and I would expect a push from 51.5-ish to 54K and then 56K. I think this is probably the main long scenario that I'm looking for right now, just because the flip of this initial resistance level would make me more confident that the near-term low is in, and then I would look for a push higher. Another scenario regarding this level would be grind up, sweep that high, and lose this resistance level again. So if we take out the high and then break back below, I would look for a short back down. We really don't want to see that if we're bullish, because then it would pretty much just be a stop run above that high and then back below the key resistance, and then it would look like more downside is on the way. For now though, I mean, after you get really crazy moves like this, typically it's best to sit on your hands, let it play out a little bit. We could get something like this where you range around and then take out the low and then go up. But for now, main long scenario or short scenario happens around this level. Like, this is the level that I want to do business around. If we chop around here, I don't want to take any trades because it's not really a key level for me. Whereas this level right here, 51K, either we're shorting it or we're longing it. If the short scenario plays out, I would be targeting this low, and then maybe leave a little bit more of the trade open if it ends up going down to 43. But I guess just in summary, the main takeaway is that this 51K level is where I want to be doing business as a trader. So a move up there is where we start to pay attention. Other than that though, I think we just need to implement some patience. I don't love how funding rates are still relatively positive. I can double check right now. We'll pull it up on here. So, okay, on FTX, we have negative funding for Bitcoin, but still positive on Binance, Bybit, BitMEX, and then really high funding on Ethereum. On BitMEX, not too high on Bybit, but still positive on FTX, positive on Binance. So usually when we get something like this move right here, usually we would see a lot like negative funding across the board because all the longs get wiped out. There's more shorts than longs open, and then you're looking for some shorts to get taken out. So when the majority is short, funding is negative. You have to pay to be short. You have to pay the people who are long. But when funding is positive, more people are long, and you have to pay the longers you have to pay anyone who's short to be in a long. So this tells me that the majority is long because funding is positive, and this doesn't look bullish at all. So like if we started moving up like this and we were at 53K, yeah, it wouldn't really surprise me that funding is positive. But because we're still way down here and there are more longs open than shorts, it makes me think that shorts might need to be, or that the longs might get punished again before moving up. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Let me review the chat. Do you only open longs when funding's negative? No, but I like funding for Confluence. The website is it's called a Viewbase. Viewbase.com/funding. Let me drop the link for you guys. There you go. Elon had to be pressured to tweet that. He clearly loves being the guy in the middle of the meme. Yeah, that's what, I don't know. It's weird. It's all weird. I don't really understand what he's got going on. When I set stink bids, where do I put my stop? Basically, it would have to be below like a demand level, or I like to get at least another SR level in between my bids and where my limit order is. So for instance, if I left a limit order here, which I don't think I would, but I would have my stop loss below there. So I would give it this whole section to bounce from, and if it doesn't, then I'm stopped out. But typically I'd rather wait to see a little bit of the price action play out. Does anyone have specific questions about Bitcoin? I know we're getting some nice divs forming too. I'm no RSI expert, but you can see on a closing basis, we had this close here. This close was slightly lower. This close was slightly lower. And we made 3 higher lows on RSI. So that is a positive. It doesn't mean it's going to bounce, but trading is like it's like a puzzle, and you try and get as many pieces of the puzzle to show you a clear picture of what you think is going to happen. So that's another good little bit of confluence for the bulls. Where would you be looking for spot buys? Yeah, I think this level, either of these levels, I mean, I would, it is possible that we dip a little bit further. Like this is a really, really clean weekly level. Oops. Right here. That's like the dream spot buy area, which is like mid 30s basically. But I think that's kind of where everyone is watching, and that's why I'm kind of more inclined to thinking this plays out where we front run it a little bit. But spot buys, I would probably ladder anywhere in this section, and yeah, for a long-term hold, I don't think that would be the end of the world. But like that weekly level is super clean, and if we look at this, maybe Coinbase. Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier. So it's not crazy to get a 40% pullback, or like this one actually might be more similar. Yeah, so this is a 40% pullback right here, and that's like not insane to get during a bull run. And as you can see, this is that really clean weekly level, and we just wick into the top of it. So I do think it's entirely possible that we get something similar, because like I said, what was this, 40%? If this goes right to there, it's basically 40, 41, and the similarities there are unbelievable. So if it does go slightly below 40, I really do not at all expect this weekly level to give out. Like this is the strongest and only pretty much weekly support until, like, I would say that's really strong weekly support, and then I guess you would use like the retest of all-time highs and this little weekly level. But I do not think for a second that we're going back to 20K. So this is the obvious weekly level for me on Bitcoin as a bounce area. All right, let me check out these messages. Wow, we have 226 people in here. That's pretty sweet. I appreciate all you guys being here. It's awesome. Let me review some of the chat really quick, and then we'll move on to Ethereum. Macro bearish. I mean, if we lose this level, then it would look really bad. Like, if we consolidate here a bit longer and then break down here and then reject like that, I think then you can't really have a bullish bias for the near term. I definitely do not want to see us lose this level. Like, I don't even want to close weekly candles in this level. I only want to wick into here and then continue the bull run. I think that would be the most likely scenario. How do you differentiate between open and long at 51K versus waiting for the short? Good question. So typically when I'm watching for something, I'll be using a hourly chart. When I want to see us reclaim a level, I like to see a strong impulsive move through the resistance, and that for me lowers the probability that it is a fake out. So like a move up to here, 52.5 or something, like really break through with like by like $1,000. So breaking through with quite a bit of conviction, and then we might get something like that to keep going. So I like to see it really break through, create some space in between, and close some hourly candles above there. Whereas if this level was going to reject us, I think it would be more like a spike up, but a quick rejection, and then you're back below. And it probably wouldn't go too much higher than that high, maybe a little bit, like maybe like this. But candle close has a lot to do with it. How big of a wick has a lot to do with it. It definitely does take to some discretion, but I think those tips could definitely help you. Like if this just pushes through really high, closes strong candles, then it's like, okay, buy the dip. If it just has a little spike through, quick rejection, and it's a big wick, and we get back below that resistance, then I would look for shorts. I hope that helps. Who taught you this stuff? Your levels are getting so accurate. I learned from a lot of different places. I've got quite a few good friends in this space who I look up to and respect their analysis. And a lot of it just comes down to trial and error. I know that isn't the most fun answer, but my trading style isn't that complicated. You know, like it's a combination of supply and demand, ranges, SR, and some like understanding liquidity and stop hunts. So it's sad BTC is going to 40K. We'll see. It could. Are you going to sell your spot at any point? Yeah, definitely. I'm not holding a ton of spot alts right now. I did take a bit of profit. And Ethereum, like I said in the last stream, which we'll talk about soon, I had been taking some profit on ETH BTC the last couple weeks. If there's time, can we get a look at Atom? Yeah, we will look at Atom later. Love the streams. Thanks, Cause. No problem, Charles. Why is it that alts are so heavily correlated to BTC? It's pretty much just that all of crypto is very correlated. So when Bitcoin's dumping, the rest of the market typically dumps. Do I scalp during the day? I'm not much of a scalper. I'll take day trades, but not a lot of like trades that I'm in for just a few minutes or anything like that. Someone asked, Jonas, how do I get the fractals? It's this bars pattern right here. You go like this, and then you've got your fractal. What's better about Bybit than Binance? I've never been a fan of Binance. Like the UI, I've always just thought was horrible. And I've always really liked the user interface on Bybit, as well as their order execution, and they don't have any like weird downtimes, or at least not as much that I've experienced. And when there's a lot of volatility, I haven't experienced the exchange lagging, and Bybit is where I have found the least slippage when I'm trading Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically. Thoughts on the significance of the 200-day SMA? I don't really use moving averages too much, so I'm probably not the best person to ask, or the 20-week. Thanks for doing this. No problem, Elizabeth. All right. Let's move on to Ethereum. First, we'll look at ETH BTC. It's actually holding up really well. So this 0.07, that's where I talked about on last stream where I did take some profit. Whole market's nuking, but ETH BTC still looks strong. Weekly close this week will be interesting. I don't want to see it pull back to this 0.07 because if we close the candle like here, I think that would be a pretty ugly weekly candle. But for now, definitely bullish. If the daily, if we break back below that like this, I think we'll be coming back down to this weekly level or this weekly level. And so if we lose 0.07, I'll look to convert more spot Ethereum into Bitcoin. But that's the main idea right now for ETH BTC. Ethereum came into our level really nicely. This is the, hold on, let me clear some of these. This was the main SR level that we had drawn out for quite some time. It was basically this initial high here, and what I really liked about this level was how well the candles were respecting it on a closing basis, and with the wicks, this level basically held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before finally breaking. And you can see when we broke, it was a nice strong impulsive candle through it. Never got a retest, but we just retested it now, and I don't think Ethereum looks too bad, but once again, it just kind of all hinges on what Bitcoin does. I think Ethereum, not quite as good of a div, but this would have been a good level to leave some limits. This just very strong SR level. I probably would have played it with a wide stop here at like 34.20, something like that. So it's not like you're catching it with a really tight stop, but it is what it is. Let me see where Monday's low is. All right. So we did take out Monday's low, and now we are holding Monday's mid-range. Did I check where that was on? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It's like this on all exchanges, right? Okay. Just making sure. All right, so this looks pretty good here. I do think that if this does come down and retest Monday's low like this, I think you could look for a long with a stop loss here. Might not even be the worst idea to set some limit orders, targeting the weekly open and Monday's mid-range as a first target. Nice 2R trade. So the main reason behind this is that this is kind of the main level I want to see Ethereum hold, and I think it could get a little ugly if we lose that level. Like if I zoom out, we have this chunk of consolidation, but before that it was just like this grind upwards, and we never really took out any of those lows. And so if we're looking at this from like a daily time frame perspective, if this does end up losing that level, I see it coming into like here or here or here. So a lot of downside. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to do that. It could definitely come here and then bounce. But because this is such an important SR level to me, I think buying around that SR level is kind of where you get the best risk to reward. And we took out this low, we took out this low, and we just took out this low. So a lot of stop losses got raided. Some divs are lining up, and we're sitting right in high time frame support. This actually reminds me of some price action before. I'm trying to see. I think it was this. think it was here. This was another like super clear level, this whole consolidation. And I mean, not quite as clean as back there, but basically like a huge nuke into high time frame support, everyone bearish, and then we end up going on a nice run from it. So I wouldn't underestimate high time frame support. I think this is a really great level, and you want to take longs around strong high time frame support. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for Ethereum. What's up, Arian? Good to see you in here, homie. I need to have you do one of these streams. You're way smarter than me, so all right, let's move on to some alts. Let's review some plans from last week, and then go from there. Can I make the numbers a little bit bigger? I don't think so. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not really sure if it'll let me change the size, or at least I don't know how. And during the stream, while people are waiting for analysis, probably isn't the best time to experiment. So on Tuesday, our Litecoin plan was essentially look for longs if this started trending, if it got above the weekly open and got above Monday's high. That never happened, so I'm going to clear that. And now for Litecoin, we're getting a nice little push here. Same kind of thing, multiple drives down. Just took out that low. I think if Litecoin can get back above Monday's low, it would be a nice long to here and here. But a lot of coins look like this. You kind of have to look at where you want to put your exposure, which ones look the cleanest. But Litecoin does look pretty solid. Basically came into this daily support, and that is holding nicely. But confirmation for me would be a break above Monday's low, and that's very similar to what we're seeing on Bitcoin, which we're getting a nice move from now. Monday's low for Litecoin is essentially the same idea as this 51K for Bitcoin. So flip of that level is a long for Bitcoin, flip of this level is a long for Litecoin. But I think both of those look pretty solid. Alpha, I don't think we talked about too much in last stream. It has been pumping nicely though, but we're flipping the mid-range. I do like this high time frame range quite a bit. You can see mid-range held very nicely as support there. Resistance a few times, resistance. And it looks like now we've finally actually flipped it. We had a nice strong move through the resistance, nice retest, but this doesn't, I wouldn't really long it here, because it's like, even if you set limits at the mid-range, your stop loss has to be there. And then, I mean, it's just a 1.7R trade that would probably take at least a few days to play out. Just not something I'm super interested in. I don't know why I had that at the top. BNB, also the plan did not play out on BNB. We were looking for a flip above Monday's high and then wanted to just catch this thing if it starts trending really hard. It did not end up happening. And so BNB dumped. It dumped through my key daily SR, this 598. However, if we get back above that, I would be pretty convinced that at least the low is in for now. And I think you guys will start to kind of see this on a lot of the coins that we look at, is like, all right, they dumped into high time frame support. Now we're going to look to see if they can flip some resistance, and then we'll get long if they do. So here we have Monday's low that lines up pretty well with this daily SR, which I'm going to mark that. And get above those levels, and I will like how that's looking. What's up, Trader Reno? Thanks for being here, man. Hope you're doing well. Guys, feel free to give Trader Reno a follow on Twitter. He posts some really clean charts. Sol, I'm a little bummed out about this one, but I did buy spot. So I bought some spot at 38. I tweeted a few days ago. Actually, I didn't need to delete that stuff. I tweeted a few days ago that if Sol goes sub 40, you buy spot. I had leverage longs in this gray and none of them filled. But Sol is looking really good. Like, it already is above this low from 2 days ago. And it seems like it's back in this range. The daily candle is looking pretty good. Sol has pretty much just been consolidating, but it's also just been holding up very well. So I like the way Sol is looking right now, and I'm definitely looking for longs on it. I do have a bullish bias on Sol. I think you could long it here. So I see this playing out one of two ways. Either you long here, targeting the range high, 2R trade, not bad, like it's fine. But the one thing I'm worried about is if the market rolls over again, takes out the low into this demand level and then gets above, this would be the most ideal setup. Because I just bought more spot Sol at 38, I'm not rushing to get in a leverage trade, so I think I'm just gonna let this play out. If this cruises up to all-time highs from here, I will not be upset that I'm not in a leverage trade because I did just buy more spot. However, if this scenario plays out, we're looking to get long with some leverage, with a tighter entry, and then we'll be going for like 4.5 R up to the range high. And as a little bonus, we can look to compound if it gets above here. So that's kind of the Sol plan. It might just do this. Like, I would not be that surprised if it does, but as I was just saying, if I'm not too worried about missing out on this leg because of all the spot exposure I have to Sol. But this is a really clean setup if we do end up getting it. Adam, I was looking for a daily close above the dotted line, and we got that, and I did enter a position. It was something like this, I want to say. And I ended up closing it after this candle, right? So entered the long right here because of the daily close, but then after we pumped, I was feeling pretty good, but this major rejection, I was like, okay, we lost the dotted line. This is looking bearish, and I closed it around here. So that ended up being pretty helpful that I was able to cut that one early, but Adam is still pretty high up on my radar because, once again, like, we have been consolidating for so long now. I keep just moving this slider over and over, but it just does not want to sustain a breakout. It looks pretty good here above Monday's low. I do think the low could be in there. Just like with the rest of the market, if the low is in, these alts are going to run quite a bit. Resistance here and at Monday's high. Adam does look good because this is like a tighter entry than a lot of the other coins. Targeting Monday's high, it's nearly 3R. But I wouldn't really enter this quite yet. I want to see if we can close an H4 candle within Monday's low. All right, so let's see how that closes. We still have an hour and 20 before that plays out. Thank you for the ETH analysis. No problem. Seems like a full recovery is coming. It definitely could. Let's see. I think we have a daily SFP. It's when we wick down but failed to go through the previous swing low. Yep, that's like a swing failure pattern is basically a wick below a previous level and not closing through it. So I would say we do have that. That would be invalidated if we lose this low. But for now, with a daily close like this, that's a step in the right direction. I wouldn't want to enter long until we get some confirmation though. AVAX, we'll look at AVAX. ADA, we'll look at ADA. They're on my list. Just not quite there yet. I do keep an eye on SPX, the S&P 500. I just don't really talk about it much on streams. So yeah, 4-hour close back within here, and I think Adam will look pretty good for a push up, targeting 27 and targeting 30. I think, oh, is that last week? No, that's this week. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. I think Monday's high is at 30, brother. What leverage do I normally use? You should check out my risk management video because I talk about how leverage is not what is important. Moving on, Ray. Ray has a really nice clean div lining up right here. So I do think if you're gonna grab the bottom of any coin, I think Ray is one to do it on. If you have a stop there, like it's a nice risk to reward. These triple divs end up or play out fairly well from my experience and my back testing. And we do have 12-hour, but I think, and we've got some 12-hour demand right here. If you want to be a little more conservative, you could put your stop below here. Gives you a little room if this does poke down again. But I do think this is shaping up very nicely. 2-hour div, 1-hour div. I think it is. If I was going to take a shot on an alt, I think it would be Ray. I actually did buy some earlier today at 9:30, so around here. And my stop loss is outside this gray. But if we do break out, it looks like we're kind of breaking out of this downtrend. I would move my stop up to the low. Are you guys aping into Ray right now? Guys, who's doing this? Who in the stream is aping in as we speak? But yeah, I think this is a pretty good setup. Monday's low is right here. I would probably target that first. Let me draw that. And yeah, you can see how well, like I know it's just Monday's low from this week, but it all seems to line up really well how pivotal this general area is, and so that's where I would be looking for the target. But I do think Ray looks really good. Yeah, one of you guys is pumping this thing. I also think spot Ray under $10 is a win. So I think spot Ray is pretty good here as well. Spot Ray and spot Sol are solid plays here, in my opinion. All right. So Rune, what a great example of the importance of taking profit. We set up this long, told everyone when I was buying on Twitter right here. I think we streamed like after this candle or something, but this long played out incredibly well. Wanted to leave it up so we could talk about it, and took profit at 19.4. It kind of chopped around there a bit more. Market was looking pretty bullish, but we wanted to see us get above that level, and we kind of did. Like, you can see it closed above, but then the next one, big rejection, big wick, closed above, big rejection. And you guys know, like I said earlier, I want to see a big candle, like actually break it through with some strength, and then get more of a rounded retest, but create some space in between there. Rune's holding up incredibly well, though. I would have loved a sweep of this low, but we never really got it. And like, it's holding up well, a lot of absorption, and you can just see higher lows here and here and here and here and here. So if this continues to hold up well, that's fine, and we will look for longs kind of like this level a bit more. We'll look for longs above here, or a sweep of this and then back above there, okay? But overall, Rune looks great. You guys still pumping this? No, not really. Sushi. This was the long from like 2 weeks ago. We made the plan back here. I did end up taking some off at the mid-range because the two resistances I was watching are mid-range and range high. So took some off there. I did not add any more back here, so I've got around 50% of my position, but unfortunately I did ride that other 50% all the way back down to break even, but I still think the setup is valid, so we'll see if we can trend from here, and I'm still looking for this. So if Sushi gets a nice breakout above the mid-range, I still would be interested in a retest of the mid-range to add to my longs. But overall, Sushi looks pretty fine and held up pretty well. Aave. So this is the long we literally talked about on stream. I don't know how many of you guys were here on Tuesday, but I was like, you know what? Aave actually looks like a pretty good long right now. And this thing ended up pumping almost 40%. So that played out very nicely, and now you can see we are bouncing from the area we looked to compound initially. Monday's low plus the weekly open from last week. I think this would still be a good long above there, but I kind of think Aave is just going to range for a bit because it was trending so hard, and now I think it's just going to cool off. But yeah, congrats to anyone who took that. Elon's tweeting about Doge. Good, I'm going to short it. If we get a sweep, I'm shorting Doge. Let's short 1 mil of Doge on stream. Alright, so I'm skipping down to this one. I'm not actually shorting it yet, but if you guys remember, our plan for Doge was to short if we lost this 45-cent level. So that's kind of starting to play out. For me to actually take a short here, I would want to see it break below there, break below there. I enter a short right here with my stop loss at whatever the high is. So it would be something like this if it rejects soon. I'm not taking this if it just keeps pumping, because then the entry trigger wouldn't actually work out. What did he actually say? Dude, Elon's really starting to piss me off. What a freaking nerd. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna get angry about it right now, but it's a little ridiculous. This is playing out pretty nicely. We'll keep an eye on it. And the rest of the market isn't even. If Doge like takes the freaking gas out of the market and everything just dumps now and Doge goes up, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. What a guy. So Aave long played out really well. AVAX, we're still waiting. We're just in patience mode. I really like how well this is respecting our mid-range. I'll look to buy spot, like I say here, if we flip the mid-range. But yeah, pretty much the same exact plan as when we talked about it last week. Is this thing just gonna moon? But yeah, AVAX pretty straightforward. Looks pretty good to me. Flip that mid-range and we should see quite a bit of upside. XRP still a little messy, so I'm not too focused on that one. CRV, I am still looking for us to get above this 372 level, and that's when I think we can enter some swing longs or buy spot, because at that point it's just price discovery mode. But once again, like, look how well price is respecting this level. It just cannot seem to close above it. We're looking at the 12-hour chart here, so I'm just going to scoot this over because we're still looking for the same thing. Flip 372 and we will be in business. This sucker played out perfectly from Tuesday. We were looking for a sweep of Monday's low right into this daily SR or whatever it is, 148. Like I was talking about how when this broke out, this was just the cleanest level ever. And we wanted it to sweep Monday's low. It did that perfectly, and from Monday's low, it's up 25%. So I probably wouldn't want to, like, we did just sweep this high, so I would take profit right now. But I wouldn't really be interested unless it came back into here maybe and then back above Monday's high. But, you know, when you pump 25% in a day, like, you kind of just need to let it play out. So I'd be interested if this starts to pull back to maybe 170-ish. But overall, this played out very nicely. This is annoying. Doge is annoying. Like, I really wonder what Elon actually thinks of crypto, you know? Does he just like cracking jokes? Cope. I bought some more spot Cope today on this dip. I didn't actually catch like a perfect entry because I think it was more around here, 675. So just thought I'd let you guys know, be transparent about what I'm buying, but it's more so just a longer term spot play. And I think that's pretty much everything on my list. Let me look at Link. Link is a little messy. We were looking for some continuation plays that never really materialized. I guess this kind of got above the mid-range, but then if you did enter it, it had a pretty clean breakdown, rejection there, and I probably would have closed it on one of those two candles. I mean, not right there. Would have closed it on the candle close, somewhere around there. If I did enter from the mid-range, because at that point, your investment thesis, your trade reasoning was invalidated because we lost that level. And now Link is looking a little messy. Like, this 3-day SR, it's a really nice SR level. And I think this is daily demand right here, but we're just chopping around this level. So I think I'd be interested in link longs if we get back above 45-ish. But right now, I don't really want to touch it. I kind of just want to let whatever play out first. Yeah, I got some. I missed out on the frog one, the frog airdrop, but I got the whatever that dog one is. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, for a little I had my Copen FTX, but I moved it back to my Solid wallet because of all the airdrops that are happening. So DOT has my attention just because of how bullish it has held up. Like, it's up 13% on the day, fully retraced the dump from yesterday, but it's still just stuck in this higher time frame consolidation. Monday's range is pretty clean though on DOT, and the weekly open is pretty clean as well. So if this can flip Monday's high, I think there is a chance that we're finally breaking out of this consolidation. And I mean, DOT's kind of like Atom in this sense that it has been consolidating for 3 months. So, I'll have this line up with that wick right there. It's been consolidating for 3 months, so I'd like to see DOT, or I want to be on board when DOT breaks out, because I think it'll be a pretty big trend once it breaks out of here. Yeah, Ethereum is about to dip. I'll buy some if it dips down anymore. Because we're basically playing the probabilities, and it's just like, this is the closest, most important level on the Ethereum chart for me, and it's essentially the last line of defense. So if we lose that, I think this is going much deeper. So you want to try and long things at their point of no return, last line of defense, whatever you want to call the level. But yeah, I'm starting to think Bitcoin just consolidates in here. It's being a little lame. No, I didn't make that indicator, Eric. It's made by... How do I look at this? Whatever. Made by... Let me look. Is it this one? No. Oh yeah, it is. That's the one. Just search DWM. It's the top one. It's called Daily, Weekly, Monthly Opens. I don't know why the Pine Editor thing isn't working. Yeah, Elon is kind of getting on my nerves. So many, like, I don't know. It's just stupid. Let's see if this dips again. Just a little more. Thoughts on XLM BTC? This is a funky looking chart. Just like this structure looked funny to me. I would say bullish above like high time frame bullish when it flips that level. I think if it does that, spot XLM is going to be a good play. All right, 1 sec. I'm going to need to open this on my other monitor. I'm gonna long. Ah, ha, ha, ha. 3.4. All right, guys, I just got filled at 3,662. So this isn't guaranteed to play out, but like I said, if Ethereum is going to go up, I think it's going to do it from here. So I'm betting on this being the last line of defense, and if it doesn't hold this level, I'm going to get stopped out, but I think I will be able to long quite a bit lower. So that's kind of the premise, if that makes sense. All right, guys, I think that is pretty much it for me today. Hope this long plays out and I make some money. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I don't know for sure, but I think this is the most people we've had in a stream. So I really appreciate your guys' support on these streams. I hope my content has been helpful. I forgot to do this at the beginning of the stream, but I wanted to give a shout out to Bybit for sponsoring this video or sponsoring all my streams. Thanks to them, I can do all this for you guys for free. So if you guys enjoy the content and want to support me, you can use the Bybit link in the description, and that'll basically let Bybit know that it's worth it to keep sponsoring me. So that's going to do it for today. I'm deleting this because that scenario isn't going to play out. It looks like Doge is bullish again above this range. But, yeah, I think that'll do it. This is probably just going to nuke because Doge is taking all the gas out of the market. But it sucks. It is what it is. Anyway, have a great rest of your guys' day. And I will talk to you all soon. Mark, hey Kaz, what's up, Mr. Dude? I've been starting at either 2200 or 2300 UTC. Recently, I've been doing 2200 UTC a little bit more, just because it seems like more people are around by then. But I usually tweet out what time I'm gonna start a few hours before, during the day of a stream. But sorry to switch that up on you a little bit. Anyway, thank you guys again, and I will talk to you in the next stream on Tuesday. In the meantime, you can find me on Twitter and in my free Telegram. But chat later.